It should be a TBT, I believe. Um,
Okay, so looks like it's going to be close positions. ROOTMinigun is going to be spawning over on the right side at the 3 o'clock position. He is our teal Protoss. And his opponent is still FXOSheth, our purple Zerg. Close positions. Going to be a rough time here for Sheth.
Yeah, there's a lot more to be done if your opponent is near to you, if you're a Zerg on Lost Temper. And normally I would still go ahead for fast expand and just throw down maybe like 2 spine crawlers at the early of the game. And normally the toss player would also go for really early harass if he scouts this. Would you actually fast expand on this map based on the position, Steve?
If I don't scout 2 again, I'm always fast expanding versus Protoss, but I would be willing to bet money that Sheth will continue to open up with his 14 gas, 13 pool build, especially in these positions, just because I know that's the build that Sheth loves to open versus Protoss. Although I really wish he would notice that Minigun has never placed a pylon down there to block that expansion, so maybe he could vary his play up, but I still expect to see the 14 gas, 13 pool go up from him.
Yep, he is on 14, so I suspect he'll be throwing down that geyser pretty soon. Yep, there he goes. Minigun right now just chronoing out those probes, of course.
I just did an interview with him last week. He actually says that he always would like to play safer. That's why he always throws down spawning pool before he expands.
I don't have a problem with throwing down a spawning pool first, but he gets a lot of lings. He actually sacrifices a few drones for that. And the fact that he does get metabolic boost first every single time, it's like a little too safe.
I mean, yeah, actually, it's kind of weird that Sheth would say that, because one of the great mindfucks of playing Zerg is that sometimes the safest thing you can do is build more drones and less army. I mean, by building these lings early on, he's cutting drones by not expanding as early as he can. He's cutting drones, he's cutting economy. So in reality, getting these 6 lings, he almost has to do some kind of damage or pressure with them to make it come even for him. So in a way, he's kind of doing a riskier build by building that early army, as strange as it seems, just because he's cutting the economy so early there.
Yep. And the main thing to note is that if you're doing the same build all the time, regardless of how safe it is in general, if you do it every single time, it's actually riskier just because your opponent knows what you're doing already, and they don't have to prepare for anything unusual. So they can play more risky or more greedy just by knowing what they have to deal with.
I think Minigun's been taking advantage of that too, since, I mean, he's been chrono boosting out probes. It seems like he's always ahead on economy. And I don't think Protoss should, actually after the first couple minutes, should not stay ahead on drones. Right now it is 21 to 14. That's a big difference 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, well, he just needs about maybe 24 for it to be saturated at this point in time.
Man,
Oh my god, and
he
he's
didn't have the wall.
gets it. I guess he's gonna pump out Zerglings now.
Minigun pulling probes.
Yeah, he gets the
It's like
Zealot.
zap them.
Was able to
Well, it's not
force
gonna
a...
be a...
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, he was able to
he's
force
not-
a chrono on that stalker there. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a big problem for him because he's gonna be able to chrono out his second unit. Well, right now what Chef can do is actually tech up to Lair and get fast upgrade on roaches. So if you actually play against a Protoss player, you like to get +2 instead of +1 because +1 doesn't really make that much of a difference. So you normally do a timing push if you are upgrading your roaches after attack +2.
Yep, I'm familiar with the rush, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I've ever seen Sheth exactly play like that before. Although in these positions, those kinds of timing rushes can be extremely powerful against a Protoss, especially if the Protoss likes to fast expand.
Yep, Sheth did now just finish his hatchery though. Has taken drones back off of gas. Has his second queen out. Probably just gonna drone up for a little bit here. Minigun in the meantime. Oh, actually Sheth doing a little bit of pressure with some little circlings, but pretty much just gonna lose them right now. Does force one force field from Minigun, although a second sentry is out, so Minigun probably gonna be expanding. But we do see those 3 gateways down, so it's gonna be a 3-gate expand. So pretty safe here.
Not sure why he wasted a force field there. I don't think that was worth it at all. Kind of strange, especially with that second sentry coming out immediately. He didn't even trap the lings in there too. I think that was a little bit of miscontrol by Mini.
He's doing a really standard 3-gate expand, and I guess at this point in time, Chef can just kind of macro up since he knows that Minigun is expanding. So he has his timing window, but he has like 16 links on the way.
Yeah,
So he should really try to deny this expansion.
Yeah, what you just said was entirely true. He has an Overlord on the cliff. You can see the Nexus going up, and he knows that that Minigun is doing a relatively safe fast expand build. I'm really surprised to see all these links coming out from him. And this is exactly what I was talking about on Metalopolis. You have to be really careful when you just run into a Protoss's expansion. When he SimCities these buildings off and he has so many sentries here, I mean, it's almost suicidal to run your lings in, assuming that the Protoss is able to handle his force fields well.
Yep, and there goes Minigun with his quick robo. Does like to get the observer out. Has 6 sentries there, I believe. So I don't see any of these lings from Sheth doing a lot of damage. I'm actually surprised that he's not considering. Oh, actually, those lings may be going for the gold rocks. I was just gonna say I'm surprised he's not gonna go for a third, but that would be a really nice third to take at the gold base at the top.
Yeah, if you actually look at the harvesters count, Chef has 46 drones up against 37 probes from Minigun. So he's up on economy right now, and he should actually have a big enough army to defend against anything that Minigun is going to bring. But if you can see, he actually only has a spawning pool and doesn't have a roach warren or anything up yet. However, his lair is coming up. What do you think about that, Steve? Like, he only has a spawning pool.
That's really scary. If Minigun were pushing with more zealots here, I mean, Chef would be in a possibly like a horrendous predicament. I mean, it's nice as soon as you see the Protoss moving out that you're able to just pump out like anywhere from 8 to 14 roaches, immediately. But I mean, there's no way for Minigun to know that he doesn't have a roach warren, so I'm sure that the threat is still there in his mind. But kind of strange that he's going straight for Hydra Den too.
Yeah, that Hydra first. I mean, it's pretty good against a very gateway heavy army, just because that fast expand kind of delays that tier 3 tech. But we'll see if he can hit some kind of timing push. Minigun should have that observer out, should be able to scout the tech path from Sheth, and probably going to want to tech up to Colossi immediately.
Yeah, I really like Hydra first against Protoss now because it makes Protoss's build completely predictable. They have to go Colossi because Hydras is just so good. Looks like Sheth's trying to break inside the base, but it looks like it should be held off, although a lot of Zerglings here, Stalkers are going to come reinforced. But yeah, once you have Hydras out, they're going to have to throw down a Robotics Bay. We see it about halfway done right now, and as long as you throw down a Spire sometime soon, you should be able to get some Corruptors out, hold that off, and just push your way to victory.
Yeah, I agree with what you say. Hydras are super effective against gateway units, so he's going to be able to clean these up really quickly, and he really needs to... Minigun really needs to chrono out his Colossus to stay in this fight, but you can see Force Field doesn't really do much damage to a Hydra because he has additional add-ons to his Hydra. He can actually push right now and take down the expansion really easily.
Yeah, Minigun is just... I don't know if he was just expecting roaches, or I mean, you see him, he's already got one immortal out, he's chronoing a second out. I mean, highly ineffective against this kind of a composition. I mean, Sheth is clearly, you see he's creeping towards his base and he's really rushing these Hydras out, so this is definitely a timing push of sort. Sheth is just trying to get in here before any Colossus come out, but like I said, it's strange that Minigun is producing immortals at this point, and there is a Colossus coming out now, finally halfway done.
That's the great thing about going Hydras first. Almost every Protoss will expect some sort of roaches out. And if you go Immortals are completely useless against these Hydralisks. I mean, this first Colossus is going to pop out, and it might get sniped right away. These Hydras are far enough out, and see if they target it down. They do, and it's about halfway dead. But some good micro there from Minigun.
Oh, it needs to save it. It does go down. Ouch.
I don't know.
Well, he doesn't have thermal lance yet.
Yeah. Not having thermal lance is actually really huge. You almost never see Colossus in action before it. But I mean, he can reinforce so fast here. Yeah, Minigun has to drop a GG. There's just no way after losing that Colossus and everything else.
Okay, this threat is quite imba because he went for early Hydra. It's like a really huge risk, but it paid out. So he actually won that game against Minigun because he lost his only Colossus. But he also didn't have thermal lance upgrade, so it was gonna be really hard to take down the Hydras anyway. Oh, so good. So we're going into